Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Tuesday evening here with the Set Neighbor YouTube channel. If you're new to the Wisdom of Kabbalah and our YouTube channel, you can always visit Kabbalah.info and get some information there. If you'd like to join a course, you can always do that at the CabU Academy at the same website address. If you don't want to register anywhere but are interested in the Wisdom of Kabbalah, you can watch our lessons here on YouTube as well. You'll note that we've got semester 1, 2, 3, which will give you all the foundations and the fundamentals of the Wisdom of Kabbalah. In the interim, though, as usual on Tuesday nights, we're going to carry on with the Faith Above Reason topic with selected excerpts. And if you have any questions, shoot them through. We'll try to find answers together from the texts. Okay. So let's take a look. Item number 31, right? We're at 31, correct? Okay, great. So, Baal Islam said about this, that a person should depict to himself as though he has already been rewarded with complete faith in the Creator and already feels that the Creator leads the world in a manner of good and doing good. Although when he looks at himself and the world and sees that he and the whole world are deficient, each according to his degree, he should say about this, they have eyes and see not, meaning above reason. In this way, he can say that he is a complete person and lacks nothing. Naturally, he can establish the praise of the Creator above reason. All right, so let's take a look and read that again. This is an interesting topic because let's read it again. Okay, there's something we need to take from this short paragraph, and it's really important for the work, actually. Okay. Baal Islam said about this that a person should depict to himself as though he has already been rewarded with complete faith in the Creator and already feels that the Creator leads the world in a manner of good and doing good. Although when he looks at himself and the world and sees that he and the whole world are deficient, each according to his degree, he should say about this, they have eyes and see not, meaning above reason. In this way, he can say that he is a complete person and lacks nothing. Naturally, he can establish the praise of the Creator above reason. Right, any questions? No, okay, this is really important. Actually, it's a short paragraph, but let's think about why this is important for a moment. Now, Baal Islam is telling us to depict something, right? In reality, if I want to attain something, I have to depict it. So I have to depict what spirituality is for me. Otherwise, I can't get close to that concept. I could be studying 1,000 years, and if I don't depict to myself what it means to be in spirituality, I can't get close to it. Because I need to have, how should I call it, right? We're emotional beings, correct? Yeah? So I need to attach some emotion to the depiction of this perfection that he's talking about. And if I don't do that, I can't really attract myself to it. So during the work, it's really important that all of us depict to ourselves as if we have already been rewarded with perfection, despite the fact we don't know what it is, and despite the fact that the whole world looks chaotic and absolutely crazy and mad. We have to say to ourselves, just seeing it this way, but this is just not how it is. Okay, this is what it means to go above reason. So what we have to say is, like he says here, they have eyes and see not. So I have to kind of go above reason to a state where I depict to myself as much as I can. And it has to be something solid. You know, I can't be in fantasy land. Okay. So I have to kind of depict to myself in a solid way what it means to be in spirituality and in perfection. Okay. And where I fail, it says you should go above reason. Fair enough, right? So what does that mean? It means that, well, I'm likely to fail, and that's fine. The important thing here is to keep going back to doing it. Okay, does that make sense? Okay. Otherwise, you're going to be ending up being a bunch of whinging poms. Okay. And that would get you far. Okay, that won't get any of us far. All right. So in order to really build the right relationship to the world, what we have to do is depict to ourselves what it means to be in perfection with the Creator in spirituality. It's a very short paragraph, but it's got a really important detail in it. And if I don't think about it, right, if I don't think about it, if I can't visualize to myself what is it, or if I don't do it to myself, I won't be able to move forward. And the reason we need to think about it is because our work consists of two things: a desire for it and an intention. I need a clear-cut intention to what I want to be and why I'm doing it. If I then attach to that intention the depiction of where I want to bring myself to, and add to it an emotional element, then that emotional element will draw that place near to me. Because at the end of the day, we're all living our lives inside our heads. So what you build in it is going to be your spirituality. All right? So this depiction is very, very important. And you can hear them. Well, you don't see them writing it everywhere. So when he talks about it, okay, it's very unique because it's not mentioned a lot everywhere. Because normally what they talk about is we got to pray, we got to work, we got to have an intention and work with the intention and pray and, you know, that kind of stuff. Okay. So when he talks about, well, look, you know, you got to depict to yourself this and that, you got to say to yourself for a second, wait a minute, how am I supposed to depict to myself something that I don't have? Well, if you want that something you don't have, you have to depict it to yourself. Get it? Okay, questions? Is there a question already? Well, that's nice and early. Okay, so we've got a question. Karen's asking, we need the friends to go above our reason. We need the friends to go above our reason. I don't quite understand the question. I need to go above reason. Okay, I need to go above reason. So I always have, it's me who has to do the job, right? So I've got to go above reason, not my friends. Everybody in their own work has to go above reason. And that's just how it is, okay? If I didn't answer your question properly. Maybe I didn't understand it. Ask again. But I have to go above reason. I always have to look at the work from the perspective of what I have to do. Right? What is it that I need to do? What I have to do. All right. So this faith above reason is very important. This is why we're carrying on with it for quite a few weeks now, right? Like several weeks we're doing this. Okay. Item number 32. A prayer should be with heaviness of the head, meaning when a person feels that he does not have faith above reason, meaning that the reason does not mandate him to work in order to bestow. Yet the person understands the primary goal should be to be rewarded with dvikut, with the Creator. Since the reason objects to this, he must go against reason. And this is very hard work. Since he's asking the Creator to give him something to which all of his organs object. It follows that each and every prayer he makes to the Creator has its special work. This is why a prayer is called work in the heart, meaning that he wants to go against the intellect and the mind, which tell him the complete opposite. This is why it's not called the work of the brain, since the work of the brain means that a person exerts to understand something with his mind and reason, but here, he does not want to understand with his reason that we should serve the Creator in a state of knowing. Rather, he wants to serve the Creator specifically with faith above reason. This is why a prayer is called work in the heart. Let's read it again. A prayer should be with heaviness of the head, meaning when a person feels that he does not have faith above reason, meaning that the reason does not mandate him to work in order to bestow, yet the person understands the primary goal should be to be rewarded with adhesion with the Creator. Since the reason objects to this, he must go against reason, and this is very hard work. Now, going above reason means overcoming stuff. Okay. If in life I don't overcome difficulties, I can't make anything out of myself. Nothing's going to happen to me. This is happening. This is also true in corporeal reality, right? So I have to overcome stuff all the time. Okay. And the way to do that in spirituality is to first of all have an understanding that I have to overcome. All right? So I need to understand I have to overcome things. Despite the fact that I don't want to overcome it and it's difficult and it's hard, blah, 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 blah. Okay? I understand that I have to do this if I want to come to adhesion, if I want to come to bestowal. Okay, adhesion with the Creator equals bestowing like the Creator. Because our nature is a desire to receive pleasure, it doesn't want to overcome anything. It just wants to be spoon-fed all the time. Okay? Please, somebody just do things for me and I'll just take it easy. Okay? Unfortunately, life is not going to get you far with that kind of an attitude. So a person needs to overcome things. And we also need to understand intellectually, right? This is as a purely intellectual, nothing mystical about it or spiritual. I have to understand that I have to overcome this. This is just how it is. If we understand this is how life is, then accepting the situation will be less difficult. Since he is asking the Creator to give him something to which all of his organs object, it follows that each and every prayer he makes to the Creator has its special work. This is a point we need to delve into. What actually is every prayer he makes to the Creator has its special work. So every demand, okay, look, we have to now, right? We've been studying Kabbalah for a while with you guys every Tuesday. So we have to get a little bit into detail with every sentence now. Okay, since you guys are not asking the details, I'm going to drill in a little bit, but you got to pick up some stuff on every sentence now. Okay, otherwise we won't be, otherwise we'll just be reading everything and that'll be it. Okay, so let's finish this and I'll answer your questions as well. It follows that each and every prayer he makes to the Creator has a special work. This is why a prayer is called work in the heart, meaning that he wants to go against the intellect and the mind, which tell him the complete opposite. So despite the fact that I naturally, by my nature, don't want to do something, that bestowal is against my nature, so I don't really want to do it, I have to have a special work in the heart. Okay, I've got to have a prayer in the heart. What does that mean? What is the heart, right? A heart, we always say it's a desire, but what is a desire? Well, a desire is an emotion, isn't it? Because I feel inside my desire a fulfillment or a lack. So a work in the heart means that I'm lacking a certain sensation. And this is why in item number 31 above, he said, I've got to depict to myself what that fulfillment is. What is that fulfillment of bestowing to the Creator or adhesion with the Creator? What is that feeling of perfection where I'm loving others and bestowing to them? Right? So I have to kind of think about that a little bit. So we're using the mind to delve into that specific depiction, that specific emotion, which is in the heart. Okay? This is why, what is he saying? This is why it's not called the work of the brain. Now, am I using my brain? Yes, I am using my brain, but I'm using my brain to depict to myself an emotional state which I want to feel inside. This is why it's not called the work of the brain, since the work of the brain means a person exerts to understand something with his mind and reason. Okay, so I don't want to understand anything with my mind and reason, because until I have an emotional sensation, I cannot understand it intellectually in any case, because we are emotional creatures. For me to understand anything and reconcile anything at an intellectual level, I need to have a sensation or a depiction of a sensation that I am in or want to be in. But here he does not want to understand with his reason that we should serve the Creator in a state of knowing. Rather, he wants to serve the Creator specifically with faith above reason. This is why a prayer is called work in the heart. So I have to attach an elevated emotional state to what I depict to myself as faith above reason. Okay, does that make sense? Now I can delve in thought about that specific thing. P. Marlin's asking, so use imagination to build a depiction of what spirituality looks or feels like. Yeah, I've got to depict it to myself from everything that I'm learning. I've got to think to myself, depict to myself what it would be like to be in adhesion with the Creator. Which means what? Which means what it would be like to be in mutual bestowal and love with the Creator and with everybody else. Okay. So I have to depict to myself something, because otherwise I can't build a desire. How am I going to build a desire if I don't depict to myself what I want? And what is a prayer? A prayer is a desire. It's not what I'm saying with my mouth. I can't keep repeating the same words. Oh, Creator, please connect the friends together. Please do it. Just do it. Okay, you can't keep doing that forever. It's not going to work out. It can only work out to a certain limit. Beyond that, it's not going to work out. Okay, so I have to, inside of myself, build some kind of an emotional attachment, an emotional state to what I want. Despite the fact that I don't really know what I want. Just like kids don't know what it's like to grow up. They just want to grow up. Issake is asking, how does a person distinguish where they are, whether they're in the work of the brain or work in the heart? Work in the heart is what I want. Work in the heart means I'm building what I want. Okay, this is why I have to attach to it something emotional, because we're emotional beings. I have to attach something emotional to it. I have to depict to myself what it's like to be in adhesion. Okay. Ingrid's fulfillment is just in my emotions. Absolutely. Fulfillment is always in your emotions. So is the lack of fulfillment. It's never going to be intellectual. It can't be. When I'm fulfilled, it's all about emotional state. When I'm unfulfilled, it's also an emotional state. Okay. In any case, we're always emotional beings. Now, when I have a lack of fulfillment, or I'm dissatisfied, then I have the mind to kind of seek ways to compensate for that. That's why we've got a brain. Right? So I can then use my mind, my brain, to kind of say, well, how am I going to fulfill this lack? How am I going to, work on it? How am I going to get myself this lack fulfilled? What I need to do to fulfill my lack? That's where I'm using the brain. This is why, first of all, depicting the state, thinking about the state, depicting the state, having a clear intention as to what you want, and then attaching to it an emotion of joy and perfection, like you've got everything, right? Like you have everything. Then that allows you to develop yourself towards that state. Now you're building for yourself like a little cocoon, where within it, you can work on that state, develop it, and grow inside it, like inside the womb of a mother. All right. If it doesn't make sense, let me know. But this is like, plus or minus how it's panning out. Okay. All right. Okay, we're on item number 33, correct? Yeah, 33. Right. So let's read 33. In that state, when he sees a dark world and he wants to believe above reason that the Creator behaves with the world in private providence as good and doing good, He remains standing on this point, and all kinds of foreign thoughts come into his mind. Okay, this is what I talked about overcoming. Then he must overcome above reason that providence is good and does good. At that time, he receives a need for the Creator to give him the power of faith that he will have the strength to go above reason and justify providence. Then he can understand the meaning of Shekhinah, in the dust. Since then, he sees that where he should do something for the Creator and not for his own sake, the body promptly asks, "What is this work for you?" and does not want to give him strength to work. This is called Shekhinah in the dust, meaning that what he wants to do for the sake of the Shekhinah tastes to him like dust, and he's powerless to overcome his thoughts and desires. At that time, a person realizes that all he lacks in order to have strength to work is that the Creator will give him the power of faith. All right, so let's do this once again. In that state, when he sees a dark world and he wants to believe above reason that the Creator behaves with the world in private providence as good and doing good, he remains standing on this point, and all kinds of foreign thoughts come into his mind. Okay, so when we're looking at the world, especially now, some really bad things are happening around the world, like natural disasters, wars, all kinds of bad things, right? So it's very difficult for a person to maintain a position where, he can say that the Creator is good and he's doing good, because he's looking at the world and all kinds of thoughts against that perspective come to him because he sees that the world is not good. Okay, it's full of pain and suffering. So then what should he do? He must overcome above reason. Well, fair enough, but how is he going to do that when the whole world looks absolutely opposite to the state that he's trying to depict himself? At that time, he receives a need for the Creator to give him the power of faith. Okay, so that's where we need the Creator. In order to come to that perfection, I need some help, right? If I could do it on my own, then I wouldn't need the Creator. If I didn't need the Creator, then the Creator would would not be in my life, would he? So there needs to be a state where I depict to myself where I want to get somewhere, and I understand that there are things that I need to come to overcome to get there, and that's where I need to turn to the Creator. So he must overcome above reason that providence is good and does good. And at that time, he receives a need for the Creator to give him the power of faith that he will have the strength to go above reason and justify providence. So precisely at this point, we need help from the Creator. If I was doing something in corporeal reality, I wouldn't need the Creator for that. I just depict to myself what I want to be and work for it, and that's it. It's like, who needs the Creator, right? But we're talking about spirituality, where we're talking about like everything is against what I'm depicting to myself. Okay, so in order for me to do that, I need some help from the Creator. So the Creator can actually give me a different perspective in life, a different state, a different perspective. And then he can understand the meaning of divinity in the dust. Since then, he sees that where he should do something for the Creator and not for his own sake, the body promptly asks, what is this work for you? And does not want to give him strength to work. Right? So this is the overcoming that we need to do with the help of the Creator. Okay, so I need to have a state. Let's take it step by step, right? So first of all, I need to have a clear intention of what I want to be, what I want to achieve with my study. Okay, so that's rule number one. What is my clear intention? And then what do I have to do? To depict to myself what it's like to attain what I want. And once I depict to myself that situation, where I actually need to think about it quite a lot. And a lot of people run away from thinking about what they want. If I don't think about what I want, I can't have a clear intention. This is why intention is something we're renewing every day. Now, some of my lessons you would have heard me say, every day you should grab yourself a cup of tea or coffee, sit down and evaluate your life. Because if you don't think about it, nobody else will. Okay. And if you don't think about it, then you're not really going to clarify what you want for yourself. And if you don't clarify every day what you want and what you want to be, you'll be stuck in the mud. All right? It's not going to happen. You'll just be passing days like that. Okay? So don't just pass your days. All right. Now, as you clarify all these things, the body, the will to receive for myself, is going to be like, well, why do we need to do this stuff? Why can't we just have fun instead? All right. Because it doesn't like overcoming. We like an easy life. But if you want to be something in life, it's not going to be easy. So this is why we have to go through this process. And because studying the wisdom of Kabbalah requires us to change our nature, and because we are not capable of changing our nature, we can turn to the Creator specifically for that lack. Okay. At that time, a person realizes that all he lacks in order to have strength to work is that the Creator will give him the power of faith. Okay, so the Creator will give us the power of bestowal. Right, yeah? Okay, so we've got questions, right? Mars is asking. Mars? Okay. Every time I come up with a way to fulfill my own lack, am I missing an opportunity to ask the Creator, or can these actions be done simultaneously? Well, look, when we're addressing a certain lack, it's not just any lack, right? It's the lack. It's I'm feeling deficient for spirituality, right? We're trying to, what's the objective of the study of the wisdom of Kabbalah, right? The whole objective of the study is for me to attain the attribute of bestowal, which is the attribute of the Creator, right? So I want to equalize myself to the Creator. We want to have equivalence of form with the Creator. So that's the state I'm depicting to myself. So as I'm depicting that state to myself and thinking about everything I want to do, I need to do to get there, I get resistance from the body saying, no, we don't really want that. Who wants to love others and bestow to others? You don't really want that. Come on, get serious, man. Okay, so inside of us is this little guy talking saying, get serious. That's not realistic. We're a desire to want things. Let's go get some stuff. So in order for me to overcome that ego inside, I need the creator specifically for that guy. Okay, that Pharaoh in me. That's the Pharaoh inside the person. That little evil thing inside of us, that ego, is exactly why I need the creator to fight against that. So because I can't do it on my own. Why? Because it's our nature to want things for ourselves. How can I defeat my own nature? It's not possible. I can only get help. I can get help if I understand what I'm going for in life. And the understanding of what I'm going for in life can only happen if I go through the process that I've been trying to explain over the past 40 minutes. Okay, so that's why thinking about it, depicting it, trying to move in that direction is really, really important. Okay. What are the tactile sensations? Aren't they fulfillment? Yeah, but they're exactly like you said, they are sensations. Sensations are my emotions, right, Ingrid? All my sensations, all my five senses are all sensations. So they're like, they're what I feel. What do I feel? Either a fulfillment or lack of it. Okay. Mars is asking, but even when I'm trying to connect to the friends and desire closeness, I'm unsure where we try and where we ask. You're unsure because you haven't clarified to yourself what exactly it is that you want. That's why you're unsure. Okay? Because what you want is still blurry. It's not crystal clear. This is why I said a man has to have clear-cut intention. That's why we're always thinking, oh, what do I really want? What do I really want? So this is why we've got to think and sharpen it up every day. There's no other way. It's not going to happen any other way. So every day, start sharpening yourself, that intention. Think about it. What do I want? Why do I want it? What is it? What is it really that I want? Or what is it that I should really want? What is that state that I'm wanting and yearning for that the Kabbalists are talking about? Right? If I don't have this inner conversation with myself, I won't have a thought process. And then you'll be lacking the use of your mind. All right? And this is exactly what we should be using the mind for, not to intellectually understand what we're reading, but to think about what it is that I really want. To clarify the heart is why I want to use the mind. Does that make sense? Right? Because without an emotional state, I can't really use my mind. This is why I have to attach an emotion to what I want. So now I've got to depict what I want, and I have to attach to it an emotion, which is perfection, absolute fulfillment. Now I've got to think about, how's that going to pan out? Okay, you understand what I mean? There is no other way. This is why we can measure time. Animals can't, humans can. So I can depict to myself a future state, any future state. But if you want spirituality, then you're going to have to, you're going to have to depict that for yourself. Okay? It's basic 101 growing up. If I'm a kid, I depict to myself what it's like to be a pilot. I've got no idea about the shifts they're doing and the low salaries they're working for 24/7. I don't know that. Nobody gives me the details. I just think it's a great thing to fly a plane. So I've got an emotional attachment to it, not an intellectual one, pure emotional attachment, right? And then I'm thinking, how am I going to be one? What does it mean to fly a plane? How can that be? It's a giant piece of metal, right? So I got this whole depiction in my mind. I'm just like running around that thing, okay? And I've got no idea what it means. If I get into the business, I'll probably run away from it, okay? Working all those shifts, always away from home, can't see the family, can't see the kids, God knows what's going on. Is it ever going to fall? Like, yeah. And there's always, whenever there's an accident, there's like 3 in a row. So every time you're flying after the first accident, you're thinking, am I number 2? You know? So there's a lot of stress involved. You don't know that when you're a kid. You just want it. Okay? And that's above reason. Okay? So the only thing I'm using the mind for is, I don't know what it is like to be there yet, but I'm using my mind to kind of like get to something that I imagine to be great. Soke is asking, do we need to clarify this to ourselves, or do we also need to clarify this intention in the 10? No, this is your personal work. Don't stick your personal inner work into the 10. In the 10, we're just helping each other out. Okay, how to advance and how to be strong and so on. How we can advance better and so forth. Okay, in the 10, that's what we're always doing. But inner work is my inner work and my inner work alone. This is why we often feel alone in spirituality, despite the fact that we've got a bunch of friends. Okay? It's what you got to do alone. Okay? All right, fair enough. All right, then. Hope this was a nice Tuesday lesson. Okay? So I'm going to love you and leave you as usual. All right? Because I've got another program coming up soon. So what I'm going to do is say goodbye, and we'll hook up hopefully next week. There's a Congress coming up as well. And if you are not aware of it, you should go and be aware of it. Okay, get into your 10s, prepare yourselves. If you're coming to the Congress, I'll see you guys there, because I'll be going to the Congress, hopefully, if all goes well. We don't have any dramas here. If we don't have any more dramas here, because we've already got a lot of dramas here at the moment with the earthquake and everything. So hopefully we'll be able to see you guys there as well. And if not, see you guys virtually. But it's really important to get ready for the Congress so we could all go with this nice flow together. All right. All right. Everyone, have a good evening. All the best. Bye-bye.